Hi, my name's Tessier. This is my final project for the Nucamp Backend Bootcamp with Python. What I wanted to do for this project is to make sure that I understood how all of the pieces, especially from the last portion of the course, fit together. One of the main reasons I took this bootcamp was because I had never had any exposure to DevOps methodologies or tools, containerization, things like that. I'm also quite new to deploying things to cloud services like AWS. I have done my fair share of Python programming and working with SQL, so those parts weren't too bad, but this was really the piece that was completely new to me. So what I built was just a very simple repository that contains containerized versions of a Postgres database, the pgadmin server like we've been doing in workshops and so on. And as part of my process to make sure I understood how all of the various pieces fit together, I worked through various tutorials online as I was developing this, and kept seeing over and over the suggestion that something like Nginx be used as a reverse proxy, in particular when you're deploying in a production environment. So something that works with, for example, GUnicorn to do this sort of functionality. And I had no idea what a reverse proxy server was, so I wanted to understand that piece, as well as to also serve static files for the project. And then a very simple Django project with just a single simple starter app that pulls and displays data from the Postgres database, just to make sure that everything's talking to everything else correctly. So if we look at the VS Code here, we've got the Docker Compose file for the various services and the port configuration and so on. There are different environment files that are used to keep things out of the Git repository to protect things like passwords and so on. Nginx configuration for, like we were talking about, the proxy serving, and also the static file serving. And things like using different Docker files for, in this case, two environments, a development environment that will run locally, and then a more production-based environment. Now, the production-based environment is a little bit more sophisticated, so I learned how to use this multi-stage build process where you have a builder phase that then will create the ability for you to make the Python wheels that can then be used to install in the final phase, and then the builder phase gets deleted so that things are more compact, take up less space and so on. And things like making sure that you're using a non-root user when you're running in your containers for security purposes, modularizing things in the use of these bash shell scripts. So, for example, this entry point script here that basically just makes sure that the Postgres database is up and running before the Django is kicked off, so that things happen in the proper order. And so the site itself, I do have it out on Amazon Web Services as an EC2 instance. Here's the Elastic IP address that's assigned to it. And again, it's quite simple. This is the site here, just printing out hello world, then pulling that text from the database and printing it as an unordered list. So maybe not super exciting from a visual standpoint or even an interactivity standpoint, but for me this was really the key piece, to be able to make sure that I could connect everything up into one system. And now I feel like I have something where I can go to this Git repository, grab it, and I have a ready-made sort of starter, both local and development environment, and something that's a little bit more geared towards deployment. Thank you for your time.